Hello everyone! Today we're diving into the world of the respiratory and circulatory systems. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand how we breathe and how our blood moves nutrients and oxygen around our body. Let's get started and explore how these systems keep us alive and active. Our learning aims today are simple but exciting. We'll learn all about the human respiratory system and see how it's similar to those in other animals, especially vertebrates like us. Understanding this system will help us see how we get energy from the air we breathe. Think about this. Where do we get our energy from? You might notice that during games, our breathing gets faster and our heart beats quickly. Why do you think that happens? Let's see what's behind these changes in our body. Okay, let's see. Now, good. Where do you think the children get their energy from? See, they're eating. Good. From the food that they eat. So when we eat food, we are actually giving our body energy, something that we can process to give energy. Now, the next time, our next question. The children breathe more quickly and their hearts beat faster during the game. Like that, right? So why is that? Can you think about it? Good job, because their bodies, our bodies, need more air and energy. Now, one more question. How do their bodies break down the food they eat to release energy? Yes, good job. Because their bodies use oxygen from the air that they breathe to break down the food to release energy. So when we breathe faster, in that case, at the same time, our heart will beat faster too. So our nose, okay, we will breathe in air faster because we need oxygen. Okay, the oxygen will break down the food that we have to release energy. But in order to get more air into our body, that means our heart must beat faster. Why? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Let's think. Before we go deep, let's quickly review what we already know, because this will help us to understand what we learned today. If you still remember, you think about what happens when you breathe in and breathe out. Hold your chest and then observe. Do you think that when you breathe in, your chest gets bigger? And then when you breathe out, your chest will get smaller. Yes, because it will take out all the air. That's why our chest will get to normal size again. It will get smaller. So, what do you think? What happens to the air when you breathe in? Okay, is the air that you breathe out the same as the air that you breathe in? Let's think. You probably say that the air that you breathe in enters their lungs, okay, enters your lung. Yes, that's true. That's why when the air enters your lung, the oxygen will be taken. After we take the oxygen, that means we will give out the rest of the air that contains other kinds of gases from outside our lungs. So remember about this. Let's continue. Okay, let's see the big question. Where does the air go after entering our lungs? Let's see. These are two lungs that we have. This is trachea and this is the nose. So our respiratory systems bring oxygen into our blood. So this oxygen, okay, will be transported to every part of our body because we need energy to move, to do activities. So as we breathe in, oxygen follows a path. Let's see the path. Okay, into our lungs, then spread out throughout our body, giving us energy. So if we see from the path, the nose will go into the trachea and then to the bronchi, to the bronchialis, and then into the alveoli. So to give you more understanding about alveoli, let's see the next slide. And now we have come up to the alveolus. So these are the alveolus. So what is actually the advantage of having many blood vessels around the alveoli? We see there are so many blood vessels here. Okay, so this blood vessel, okay, is actually what it will do. Okay, let's see. The alveolus will give or transport the oxygen throughout our body. So these blood vessels are actually the tubes that carry blood around our body. That's why these blood vessels are very important. Okay, that is to carry blood around the body. Your body, my body. Okay, this activity. And let's explore how we breathe. Notice that how our body moves when we breathe in and breathe out. Our lungs expand and our chest rises. Can you feel it as you inhale and exhale? Okay, let's see. What happens to the ribs when the diaphragm moves downwards? Good. The ribs move upwards and outwards. Okay, next. What happens to the size of the lungs when the diaphragm moves downwards and the ribs move upwards and outwards? Good, true. The lungs become bigger as air enters the lungs. So, we can see that when we breathe in, the movement of the diaphragm will be downwards. Good. This one downwards. What about the movement of the ribs? The movement of the ribs will be upwards and outwards. Upwards and outwards. What about the flow of air? The flow of air, the air will enter the lung. Okay, let's see the next. When we breathe out, what happens when we breathe out? The movement of the diaphragm will be upwards. Good. Okay, what about the movement of the ribs? The movement of the ribs will be downwards, okay, and inwards because it is going down and then it will go in. Because why? We take out air. Okay, what about the flow of air? Good, the flow of air leaves the lungs. Okay, let's go to the next slide. This example about the respiratory systems of vertebrates. Are these similar to our respiratory systems? Animals like cats, fish, birds, and reptiles also use lungs, nostrils, or similar body parts to get oxygen. Do you think that's amazing? Now, let's think about again. So, why do you think they have similar parts of organs just like us? Yes, because they need to breathe in air to take in oxygen required to provide energy. Now, next question. What would happen if our lungs stop working? Hmm. see. Well, our lungs are essential to get oxygen. So we can see why they are such an important part of our body. Without our lungs, our body wouldn't get oxygen it needs to keep going. So let's see the answers of this activity. The first, air enters the body through this part. What is that? Yes, good job. Our nostrils, yeah? The nostrils. The next, air travels into the lungs through this tube. Hmm. Do you know the answer? Yes, good job. That's trachea. Next, number three. The exchange of gases takes place here. What is the answer? Lungs. That's great. Good job. Let's go to the next slide. Going to wrap up a little bit about our lesson one. Okay, the parts about our respiratory system. So, what do you think? What is the function of our respiratory system? What do you think? The function? Hmm, good job. It brings oxygen from the air to our blood so that it can be transported around the body. Next, what will happen if our lungs fail to work? Yes, good job. Yes, you have to think that oxygen cannot be taken into our blood because if our lungs cannot work or fail to work, that means we cannot take in oxygen to be put into our blood and it cannot reach the different parts of our body and therefore we may die. Okay, so maybe this is the last question for this slide. Do you think a person with only one lung can exercise? Hmm, yes. True. That's true. Yes, they can still exercise. But they will not, or the body will not be getting as much oxygen with each breath as it did with two lungs. Yeah, remember, because we use oxygen, that means we need oxygen if we need to breathe faster. So if we have two lungs and we have only one lung, that means we cannot take in air as much as when we have two lungs. Let's play a quiz to check how well you have learned. So in the class, we will launch Kahoot, okay? So can't wait to see you in the class. Don't forget to complete homework worksheet 1. Moving on to the circulatory system. This system works alongside our lungs to move oxygen and nutrients all over our body. Let's dive in and see how our heart plays a big role. Now, before we start the lesson, let's see. Do you think the heart in our body looks like this? Okay. What do you think? Oh, okay. So how does actually a real heart look? So this is what a real heart looks like. So don't get mistaken, everyone. So it is not a symbol like this one that you usually draw. It is actually like this. Okay, we will talk about it more in the next slide. And what do you think your heart is? Let's point. Point at your heart. Is it here? Or is it here? Or is it in your body? Where is it? If you want to find out, let's check the next slide. Before we start learning, let's see how much we know about circulatory system. Remember, reviewing helps make learning easier. Now don't forget to check your page 12 of the student's book. Please recall what you have learned about digestion of food. Where does the digested food go? Hmm? Yeah, you probably say that it goes to different parts of the body. Okay? And then how do you think the nutrients from body or from food reach every part of our body? Yeah, good job. Good job. Yes. Okay. So, let's go on to the next slide to see if your answers are true or not. Okay. Let's go to. Hi everyone. Now let's take a look at our circulatory system. Our circulatory system has a big job. It carries nutrients and oxygen to every part of our body and removes waste like carbon dioxide. It's like a delivery service that keeps our body functioning well. So don't forget to take a look at page 13 of the student's book. Now, how does blood flow from one part of the body to the rest? Blood flows through the blood vessels from one part of the body to the rest. Now let's see this picture. Let's label the three main types of blood vessels in our body: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Each type has a specific job in transporting blood around our body. So, if you can see, the veins will appear blue or purple in color. So, what do you think, or which one do you think is the answer? Yes, good. The first is artery, the B is the vein, and the C is the capillary. So, why do you think the artery is red, the vein is blue? So, let's see. What is the function of each type of blood vessel? The arteries, the one in red, carry blood rich in oxygen away from the heart. Meanwhile, the veins carry blood poor in oxygen towards the heart. So capillaries join arteries and veins and allow substances to move into and out of the blood. So why do we need different types of blood vessels? The different types of blood vessels work together to deliver blood from the heart to different parts of the body and from the different parts of the body back to the heart. So when all the oxygen has been used, that it will be carried back to the heart to take in again more oxygen to all parts of the body. Now, in this slide, I would like you to take a moment to feel your heartbeat. Okay, you can touch, okay, your heartbeat like this, okay, and then you can feel it. You have to keep a very quiet environment and then you count. How many heartbeat can you feel in 1 minute? Okay, please do that. Okay, after you feel that, please tell me your answer. Okay, does your heart always beat at the same rate? What do you think? After you touch one more time and then the next one, okay, can you get the answer? Yes, good job. No, our heart rate is affected by the type of activity we do. Because when we do activity, we do sports. Okay, for example, we sing, we are afraid, we run and everything. Our heart rate will be affected. It can be faster or even much faster. Okay, next. When we exercise, our heart pumps faster, so our heart rate is higher. In this way, why? The nutrients and oxygen can reach different parts of our body more quickly. What do you think will happen if a person loses too much blood? Remember, so when a person get wounded, for example, fall down and everything, what will happen to our body? Yes, the different parts of the person's body will not get enough nutrients and oxygen. That's why the person may die. That's why everyone, we have to be very careful. Do not run, Okay, do not play with sharp objects, or don't play rude with your friends until you got tripped and then you got what is that? Got wounded, and then you lose blood. But of course, you have to see that not every time you get wounded then you may die. No, because if you lose too much blood, remember, too much blood, that means you may die. That's why we have to be very careful. Now, let's see this bar chart on the slide. Which one do you think will result in the highest heart rate? Let's see, the first is sitting down. After that, walking activity. After that, swimming. Which one do you think will be the highest? Yes, good job. Of course, swimming. Because why? When we sit, we do not give too much energy. And then walking too. But swimming results in the highest heart rate. Because why? The body needs the most energy during swimming. Nutrients and oxygen need to reach different parts of our body the most quickly. Okay, now, do you have any questions? Yes, if you have any questions, don't forget to ask it the class. Okay, now again, I would like to wrap up. So still remember the last slide? The last slide, what do you think will happen if a person loses a lot of blood? Blood is essential for carrying oxygen and nutrients. So losing too much blood can be dangerous. It is important to understand just how vital our blood is. Now, great job learning about the circulatory system. Let's wrap it up with a Kahoot quiz. Remember to have fun and test how much you have learned. Okay? Hmm. Don't forget to do your homework on page 16 of the student's book. Complete steps 1 to 3 to find your heart rate when you carry out different activities, just like what we did just now. Don't forget. We learn about how blood flows through the circulatory system. Like us, many animals have similar circulatory systems. This flow of blood is what we call circulation. Now let's see the picture of a blood. Why is the heart called a pumping organ? Yes, true, because the heart is always contracting and relaxing to pump blood around the body. Now, how does blood flow continuously to reach every part of our body? Yes, good job. Because how? By using the blood vessels. Okay, because there are so many the blood vessels in every part of our body. The blood vessels we carry out blood throughout our parts of the body. Blood flows in a loop around our body. Let's see. The non-stop flowing of blood around the body is called circulation. The oxygen-rich blood flows from our heart to our body. Once it's used up, the oxygen-poor blood returns to the heart to get more oxygen. This cycle keeps going to keep us healthy. The main concept of how blood flows in the circulatory system. How are the circulatory systems of these vertebrates similar to our circulatory system? They have a heart and blood that flows through blood vessels. Which substances are transported by the circulatory systems of these vertebrates? Good. The answer is oxygen, nutrients, and waste such as carbon dioxide. So, like humans, of course, many vertebrates have a heart that pumps blood and blood that flows through blood vessels. Now, let's trace the path of blood through our heart and lungs, just as the previous picture. This activity will help you understand how oxygen gets to your body and how waste is removed. Let's see. The answers from the top is good job. Same like the previous picture is the lungs. Okay, the lungs at the top and then the next one, what is that? Yeah, good, because the blood poor in oxygen will go to the lungs. Okay, and then the blood rich in oxygen will go to the heart. Very good. Now let's see about the body's pump. Why does the heart beat constantly? How do our circulatory and respiratory systems work together to give us energy? Can you see and can you guess the answer? Okay, that's good. The heart beats constantly to allow the blood to flow non-stop to all parts of the body. Our respiratory system helps in getting oxygen into the lungs. The circulatory system sends the oxygen to each part of the body. This oxygen breaks down food to give us energy. Critical thinking. So, does your heart beat when you are sleeping? Why? Yes, the answer is yes. Our heart still beats even though we are sleeping. So, why does our heart beat continuously? Because it has to keep pumping oxygen rich blood. This teamwork between our heart and lungs give us energy. Isn't it amazing how our body works together? Yes, very good. Now, to review, please complete homework worksheet 2 on the circulatory system. This will help you remember how our blood moves through our body. Don't forget to study. Now, to wrap up, don't forget what substances are transported by the blood. Good job. The answer is the nutrients and oxygen are transported by the blood to all parts of the body. Waste like carbon dioxide is transported by the blood away from the different parts of the body. Next, number 2. Is the blood flowing from the heart to the lungs rich or poor in oxygen? Remember, from the heart. So if from the heart, that means it is, remember, from the heart to the lungs. So it is, good job, poor in oxygen. Okay. Okay, just now remember to keep reviewing your notes and practicing. And don't forget to do your homework because each system that we learn is important for understanding how our bodies work. Good luck and keep up the great work.